No, that is not true. I am saying again, it is not true. So next time when you call a vendor, you call to verify. You don't ask me if I see it. You ask me if it's true or not. Right? Take care, sweetheart. It's not true.
Alright.
Because you see, no, me see nothing. I never see a lie yet. I know what you're talking about. When you call me, ask me. Is it or is it not? You know? Taif, whoever your name, we're hoping for the best. We're hoping for the best. Right there. Are you watching all the time? What's going on? I calling it. Y'all know the critic of your PNC, your PVP, whoever he is. The critic not gonna lie to you. You understand? The critic would not lie to you. The only trusted source, the only trusted source of information in this country is the Guyanese critic. I could argue that with any one of them news things, whatever you call them. So we're going through the Demerara Harbor Bridge. This is with the going over the Demerara Harbor Bridge. Right, so you guys getting a full tour. Yeah, don't worry. You no matter what I tag. I ain't compromising my position. So for those of you who just tuned in, the Guyanese critic is coming to you from Guyana, the Demerara Harbor Bridge. I am now crossing the Demerara River. And today is election days in Guyana. The critic is on election watch. The only person you can trust in Guyana for credible news. Now bear in mind, I'm saying I'm the only person that give you credible news. I ain't telling you not fancy English. You know? I say, hello, good morning, you tuned into the Guyanese Critic Live and blah blah blah, you know, and the whole heap of boy BS. No, we don't do BS here. You know, we do real. As real as my hair upon my head. You understand? Yeah. We don't do BS. Like when I never see put up some UG student when they get shoot. I know where you put up all the people who get killed in the past. You understand? They want incite bullshit. And they would have some way of explaining that. Election day, day before election, you know, people send anything to me, one man send it to me, critic play a song about we want to go back to suffering and all that. What that means? If I go and play a song, we want to go back to suffering. The day of the election day, when a government has been running this country for 5 years, what am I suggesting? When I go play a song, we want to go back to suffering. What am I suggesting? No, if we agree that we're not campaigning, and I read some of the code of conduct, the rules for y'all just now. I got it right here in the car. Yeah, so let me show y'all the harbor bridge. I don't want to worry me ugly face.
Oh, he like black.
Yeah, we got a peaceful election day. We got no problem. There are some hiccups. Are we getting complaints? Shades throwing me through no shades, I'm telling you. Hello, good day. You're live at the Guyanese Critic. Thanks for the words of support, my brother. Cool. Roger that, roger that. So, hello, you're live with the Guyanese Critic. Talk to me. Yes, my brother.
Yes, good afternoon, sir. We got some problem with the sisters voting place here that put this historic commander so it's here right now.
Where's sisters?
This is way aside.
Roger, I am on my way. I'm about 10 minutes out.
Very well, thank you, sir.
Roger, say, give me directions to reach sisters.
It's crossing number 1 canal, number 2 canal, going over this Bellevue,
Uh-huh.
and then you reach for this there.
I got it up on the road top.
Yes,
Roger that.
I think the deer and Queen Money Channel.
Roger, I'm coming there right away now.
Okay.
The critic! You believe like me and God just work together. You say just turn, says we're supposed to be going, you know. I just decide for turn for go this side and the man gonna tell me, critic, this going on this side here. That's how we do it. You will say, critic, you need a team of people, you need a assistant. I gotta get this guy. They say, critic, go there. They say, call the critic and tell him.
15 minutes then, or 10 minutes.
We done land. You want to know if we come with helicopter. So for those of you who've tuned in, you're with the Guyanese Critic Election Watch, where we are crisscrossing. We are in Region 3 now, and we're looking at how election is being conducted in Guyana. I can tell you this morning, the American ambassador and the British High Commissioner being taken around by Captain Jerry Gavaya, who is the president for the Private Sector Commission. They're all observers, and I was reassured that as of like about 10 o'clock this morning, everything was going well. So we get a little confusion at Sisters Village here. We're heading down. I was told that the command is there, so we're heading down there and we're going to hear from Piamani Chan as to what that problem is. You gotta be careful with who and who we getting the information from and get it sorted out properly. So remember, the only source of credible information in this country is the Guyanese Critic. You might not like how I say things, how I put things. You might not like that. And that is okay. You understand? But all you need to have is the facts to be able to make informed decisions. You understand? Because me like you here, I don't like some of y'all eyelash. You understand? Some of y'all got a little too much color for me. Some of y'all got little, y'all ain't got enough color for me. Everybody got a problem with different things. But that doesn't mean I ain't got to come and hear your issue and talk to you. And we're human beings. And that is what goes on, right? But do not forget, you got no other option. It's not for something like it's optional. You could say, oh, we can tune into guy and he say, oh, me want to see you. You're going to, no. You have no option. What you have to tell your cohorts or whatever you call them, right? Them newsy thing. You got to tell them. You got some, can't you do things like the guy? Can't you be more factual? We want credible information. You know what I'm saying? We want facts. Wear your nice suit and talk your fancy gaff. And you say, yes, so we have received reports of some bit of instability at Sisters Village. Yes, very unfortunate situation. And we were reliably informed that the commander is there. And Priya Manichan, the former education minister who had cried about her belly, being cuffed in her belly, unverified until today, yes, she is also there. So we don't know what confusion it really is. Right? Because it seems a little bit of confusion always follows her. So we do not know whether it is the Sisters Village polling station or Priyamani Chan the confusion surrounds. Right? So we are going there. Is that kind of thing I like? No, me ain't got time with nobody. I tell you, me ain't got time with them. When y'all got me talking like that, I feel like my vocals being raped. Right? I can't tell a lie. I tell you no lie, I kid you not. Malaya used to say, Ballers to say, I kid you not. You understand? Me? So we're on our way to Sisters Village to see how the voting process is being conducted and what is the problem. What problem would cause the commander to have to go on the ground. From there, we'll be heading to Tushin, where we get complaints of, and I see a lot of people carrying the elderly and all those kind of things. So, thankful for you to assist, assist your neighbor, no matter who they voted for, assist them to exercise their franchise. You don't have to ask nobody who they vote for. You understand? Hello, good day, you're live at the Guyanese Critic.
Hey, Mark, how are you doing? I'm watching tonight from Toronto, and you're doing a good job. Good job, Daddy.
I'm trying my best,
Very nice. Hope you will work it.
Okay, thank you for the words of support.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Sisters Village. So we head into Sisters Village. Something going on. I hope nobody cough for him and he challenge the belly again. Yes. I hope so. As I go to she, he's a very emotional person. Yes. Woohoo! Woohoo! And me start crying. Woohoo! I can't even read the news properly. Yes, I get emotional pushy. Yeah. I got good memory, for surviving this country. I got good memory. And me not forget nothing. So, where is the confusion? It looks like here is the confusion. Okay, big confusion, roger that. So it seems that the confusion is here. And what is going on? Well, you can't get drunk people at the police station. This is the first thing. See what mark there? This is Sisters Village.
Yeah, this is
Sisters Village?
What you got? Yeah.
You got pulled along in the car now. We'll find it. Okay. They got a lot of police on the ground here. What happened exactly? This look like the nonsense got done start here. Why all these people there around the police station? You got some people drunk and all kind of thing. So this look like the nonsense done start here. Why people drunk? Why people hanging around the polling station? Why people hanging around the polling station and other people got to come and vote? Y'all got moved from around the polling station. No, wearing colors is not no problem. But when you're done vote, you have to move from around the polling station. What they're doing around the polling station? Just spin wrong back. This is the kind of thing we're talking about. Y'all done vote, go along y'all way. Give people, other people the opportunity to vote. Exercise the franchise, man. Y'all don't come hanging around the polling station. Once the people there out here. What going on there, partner? What going on here? What's the problem? Okay, you know nothing. He don't know nothing. Right away, he don't know nothing. What is going on here? You don't vote. Go along your way.
Mr. Critics in the house.
Hold on. Don't walk well, yeah, don't walk well. Yo. Pull up your car, boy. Talk to me. What happened there? Come in. This is the man, right? Ready? ID card. Hold on.
He's sharing ID card to a man. A man's finger is like this. We giving the ID card to, shaking in my hand and putting the ID card in the hand. And the man said,
who's the individual who witnessed this thing?
No, Randy.
A skinny up?
Yeah.
Be he there? Who they inside there? They got people inside there?
No, we didn't go there.
The one we will not win fair. Don't fucking cheat. I mean, you better quit it. I don't cheat.
You want to tell me the story? Now you want to tell me the story? You want to tell me the story? Where the diplomatic community? Where the people from the diplomatic community there? Everything is everything? Safe. Love. You want to tell me the story? The story ain't look too right. Huh? You see we got a body. You see we got a butterfly, yeah?
Yeah.
What's going on? You got it black?
You got butterfly in your camera.
Yeah. I just see it. It's luck. I love. What going? You get an idea what going on there?
On a PPP agent. Yes, the agent to the DRO. If they get somebody see he gave him some ID card.
Somebody made an allegation.
That's an allegation, right.
The police was there. And what do you think?
Well, it was a handled thing, but according to the guy is that he just, somebody wanted to know the name on the list.
So he come for check for them?
Come for check.
Jah Rastafari.
Somebody peep them.
Yeah, I'll be vigilant, eh?
Yeah, without show the code.
Roger that, safe. Yeah, I'll be vigilant. Now, any little thing could cause confusion. If you got a man ID card, here, if you got a man ID card, I'm going to help somebody, you know. You got people say, man, sharing out ID. How you just share with ID cards? Now, the man was claiming, see, he want to talk to me. He said, let rake my ass. Not my ass, my S. Because he don't realize when I start asking questions, the story gonna be different. So this is now hear myself tell ya. Go out, vote, do what you have to do. Yes, and vote to whoever for your choice. But go out early and vote. And go through your process. Yes, and don't get if your husband is a drunk man, don't send him drunk for going to vote. You gotta be very careful. Any little thing could spark big problem. You understand? Any small thing could spark problem at this point in time. Let me stop and get some clarification. So you could say the critic is not your favor. You see how quick you leave. It's not in my favor. They don't want to tell me. Here the master right away. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hey, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I cool, brother. I cool. What's it? What bothering you?
You know, I know today's election for you guys, right?
Yeah, here we have now. Now it's not a chit chat time. We can talk next time, later. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, critic here.
Yes, sir. Good
Talk to me.
afternoon.
Yeah, talk to me.
Yes, I was around the area at the same time when that same particular boy in the white t-shirt was trying not to answer you, and I made an allegation on that guy. The person didn't do anything of the sort they're saying. I was present there, I witnessed it with my eyes.
I suspect how we move in there alone. When they come to me, remember? You can't bring crap to me.
The person that asked that guy to assist the young man with the young lady to get her name, because I saw her with her ID card and she was punishing to get through to vote. And I took my son there to vote, and I was standing there.
Did you make the police aware of this just now?
No, sir.
I hear you.
Following you.
I hear you.
And they've been drinking rum a long time there since morning.
We gotta make sure this is a delicate situation. We gotta make sure we maintain the peace.
I am telling you.
Roger. All right.
They've been drinking there, gagging up there since morning. And when I went back there around 1 o'clock to supervise the bus, they were still there, and half of them was already drunk.
All right.
Those guys that came in front of you.
Let me call one more body and get some clarification. I need more than one witnesses for this same issue. Roger that.
Bye.
Roger. Hello. Yes, Chief.
What's your location?
I just left Sisters Village. There's a little tense situation there moments ago. Talk to me.
No, is this at Wales? Are you at Wales?
No, I'm not at Wales. Sisters Village is before you reach Wales.
But I understand there's something going on in Wales.
No. This is just before Wales. It is Sisters Village.
When the people block off the police station, no?
Roger that. Same place.
Alright.
I just left there. There were accusations being made of an individual giving somebody an ID card. But the person, it is said, went to help somebody to find the name or whatever. And things got out of control from there.
There have been concerns along the east coast of Demerara, especially with the change in polling places over the last couple of weeks. What are some of the concerns that you would have heard about?
For instance, this morning, just scrolling through social media, and then persons have reported as well. For instance, there was that time, not necessarily in the line, but they were being shifted from one location to the other one. What I understand from that as well is persons who would not possibly been able to check new polling stations, so I could see that affecting them. But what I'm urging people to do, the GCOM website is up and running. Ask a neighbor, ask a friend, ask someone who can assist. Because all you need, essentially, even if you don't know your ID number, you don't have it on you, they just need your name and your date of birth, and they'll be able to check it. And so I urge all Guyanese to assist everyone. Today is a major day for us, and in order to ensure that every eligible voter gets out to vote, it's critical that we assist.
All right. Apart from, of course, wanting your party to do well at this elections, what, as a Guyanese, what do you want to see coming out of this process?
I would urge, and it's something we've been talking about for months since TCI was formed. At the end of the day, we're all Guyanese. Tomorrow, we have to live with each other. What is important is that we respect the will of these results. We've had a shadowed history in that sense. And so for today, the most important thing for me is going out to cast your ballot, allowing others to do so free and fairly, and to ensure that whatever the results, we respect the will of the electorate. And so I urge for calmness, I ask for peace. The results are the results. You don't like it, in 5 years you come back out and you change the process again. But at the end of the day, it is Guyana first. It will always be Guyana first. And I urge persons to desist from rumors, spreading them, look to the credible sources for information today, and to assist wherever they can. And most importantly, peace. Let it reign. This is too crucial a time for Guyana for us to be fighting.
I must ask you finally, previously were just the Guyanese voting. This time you're presidential candidate. You've been in the limelight for the last couple of months. How was that for you as a person?
I could safely tell you this morning it was surreal. I woke up at 3. I said, I even woke up before my alarm. That's how important it was. And it was a surreal moment for me. I stepped into that ballot box not as an ordinary Guyanese. I stepped in as the head and the face of a party. And so that was a surreal feeling for me. It was important that I did so years ago, but it was more important today that I come out and I cast a ballot for that massive change we want to see for Guyana.
The realest thing coming out of Guyana, and we give you as it unravels. Right? We don't make it up. We don't season it. We don't put no salt, but this is healthy stuff. Right? It's facts. Don't taste too nice always, but it's good for you. Facts don't taste too nice, but it's good for you. Right? So there was an incident. And I would want the thing that is under control, since the person who the accusation was made against was removed from the polling station. There are claims that an individual is giving somebody ID cards. I don't know how people can give ID card, people ID card in public. All these things you got to think about. People just don't go about giving. Why am I giving you an ID card? Somebody slipping some ID card in your hand. You understand? These things they make no sense. Why am I going? Now this creates confusion for other voters. But the police are there on the ground. So please continue. And I'm asking polling agents, I'm asking the police on the ground to be strong and be steadfast. You understand? Don't let nobody deter you from doing your job. You got a job, block the one day. Quick. You got to catch them like mosquito. Catch them and block them quick. Because once the thing them is across, you just touch the thing, right? While on the scene there, I tried to talk to the individual who say he witnessed the thing. He said, let critic carry S. Obviously, he would not be able to stand up to rigorous questioning. Some people say move up because I want to hear, that's not what I want to hear. Well, if the police can't control, I want to know if you think who you think me is. Where ignorance is bliss, is folly to be wise. Yeah, I can't remember them phrases y'all teachers used to tell y'all. So there's a polling station here. There's a going on there. We got a polling station right there just before
literally at 6 o'clock. Everything was in order. The staff was in place. They had all of the materials. I have not received a single complaint in all of the stations I've visited, and I've been visiting stations for nearly 3 hours now. And the staff are aware of their duties, and they are performing their duties efficiently. There's, of course, tremendous enthusiasm in the stations, in all of the places I've seen. And I expect there's going to be a massive turnout, and I think the people of Guyana should be happy that this democratic process is moving smoothly. The international observers should have nothing to complain about. We have noticed a few anomalies and maybe abuses, but the agent, Mr. Harmon, is going to make a note of them and raise these matters with the Elections Commission. But as far as I'm concerned, the process is going very smoothly, and I think Guyanese, as far as I can see, should be satisfied that the Elections Commission is administering these elections as it is authorized to do in an efficient manner.
So you
you satisfied with the process?
So far, I have received reports, and Mr. Harman, who's the agent for the coalition, is having those reports investigated. So, as I said, as far as I could see, and the reports that I've received from the Election Commission staff, I am satisfied with the process. But some anomalies have arisen, particularly here on the East Coast, and those anomalies are being investigated.
So you have visited some of your areas that traditionally supported your coalition.
I visited some areas, yes.
What is the turnout like, and you're happy with what you've seen?
The turnout is heavy. Heavy to moderate, but I would say the emphasis on heavy turnout. They're enthusiastic, people know what to do. The polling agents are very efficient and they're briefing the voters on the procedures. So there's no reason for me not to believe that the process will be smoothly conducted for the rest of the day.
Right? So for those of you who tuned into the Guyanese Critic, an election watch, and this evening we'll be live from the command center, where if there's any problem that you have, you could call in and we will verify. Do not forget, polling ends at 6 o'clock. Now, I can tell you, I've been to a few polling stations at Albaiston. I see a group of people at the polling station where I went to, just outside, they're drinking and partying. I do not know how that is going to be dealt with. You're supposed to stay 200 yards away from a polling station. Let me stop here. And let me tell you, what is the code of conduct and what is expected of the political parties. What is the code of conduct that they signed on to recently? Right? Let me just give a quick run through what the code of conduct is. General Elections 2020, Code of Conduct for Political Parties. Right? Now, people who are acting on behalf, this falls to people who are acting on behalf of political parties and everything else. This is Copperwell pages. The Guyana Election Commission, in the fulfillment of its mandate to supervise and manage the conduct of elections and recognizing the important role of political parties, has established a code of conduct. It is hoped that all political parties will abide by this code, even as they realize their objectives, right? So the code of conduct says, one party believes is sanctuary in the human life. What's this going on? Code of conduct of the political parties. Laws and rules of procedures. Peaceful campaign, respect for each other's. Respect for the integrity of the election process. Commitment implementation. Non-disruptive tabulation and acceptance of valid election results. Cooperation with police, military, and security. Our party will show respect for and give support to the law enforcement, military, security authorities in the proper discharge of their duties during the campaign, voting, and declaration of results period. Our party is convinced that antagonistic behavior by our candidates, agents, members, and supporters towards these authorities must be avoided. Now, the relating to the behavior we see there just now, because them people got to explain now who they're there for and what's the program, right? Respect and integrity of election process. So they're saying our party, right? But this has to do with Respect and integrity of election process. So they're saying our party, right? But this has to do with what's the program, right? Respect and integrity. Is the program, right? For Wednesday. So let's start to talk about results today. Polling closes off at 6 o'clock this evening because of the distance for some. So for those of you who have just tuned in, you're tuned in to Election Watch with the Guyanese Critic. We are on the streets and looking at the election process. We're having some hiccups. Come across one tense situation where claims have been made by supporters of one party that the supporter of another party was giving people an ID card. Now you could vote without an ID card once you're registered to vote. If you're not registered to vote with or without an ID card, you can't vote. So there are claims that an individual was given another individual an ID card.
And of course our 55 EU observers all around the country are doing the same. My personal impressions from this morning are positive, so that today polling stations I visited everywhere, I saw very professional attitude, and all the process was so far very smooth. And the third element then, and of course also very important and crucial, is the tabulation later after polling stations will be closed. So that all in all, on the basis of these three elements, as I said, all what has been before election day, campaign and all the elements related to this, then election day, how people vote, how everything has been organized, and finally, of course, tabulation. So that, and taking into account all these three elements, then my mission will make then statement based on all these elements, so that we plan at the moment to make this statement from our side in the morning of the 4th of March, so it means Wednesday morning.
Have there been any concerns at all on the ground that you noticed?
Not today, not at least in these polling stations I visited. As I said, the atmosphere everywhere has been professional, even positive in this sense. I didn't feel any and then didn't see any problems so far.
I wondered if you as an observer group is very clear about the process for tabulation of the results after the poll closes.
Theoretically, yes. In this sense, in theory, of course, we got all the information and we know how it's going to happen, but one is theory, another is practice or implementation, so that I, of course, really hope that all this implementation also will be fine accordance to the regulations, but well, pretty soon we will see.
Can you give us an idea of where your observers are today?
As I said, EU observing mission is 55 people, and we are in all around the country, so that in all regions, and then we try to visit as many polling stations as possible, and also, of course, to observe the tabulation side and this final side.
What are some of the preliminary results you have come out from your observers in the outlying areas, and if any as yet?
Well, as I said, today, the real election day so far, I didn't receive any negative comments. What concerns the period before elections, we made our observation, but I can talk about these observations only then on Wednesday morning, because as you know, no observer mission can anyhow in this sense try to, let's say, influence the process. It is also not my intention, so that we make our observations and then we make our results of our observation known on Wednesday morning, and most probably also some suggestions then for the future elections. But today, of course, the most important is that the day will be professionally organized. Elections will be professionally organized, and of course also the tabulation will be professional and neutral, so that the real will of Guyanese people will be clear as soon as possible.
Sir, can you remind us of why it was important for you observers and other observers to be in Guyana at this time?
Now, first, I guess, and the most important is that it is, I guess, needed for Guyana, because I think that also Guyanese society, Guyanese people also need, in this sense, insurance from neutral observers that everything has been done correctly, or if not, then in this sense what was wrong. So that I guess it's also important for the future legitimacy of future legitimacy of your political life and future political development. So that's why I guess it's mostly important for Guyana. But it's also important for the EU, for example, because our main interest is that Guyana and Guyana's democracy will develop further, so that the rule of law will be strengthened, that real political will of Guyanese people can be expressed freely without any fear or without any other, problems. So that in this sense, as you know, European countries, European Union, we are stronghold for democracy and rule of law. And of course, we'd like to see that there are more and more countries all around the world who share the same values, that every and each person, every and each citizen, for example, here in Guyana, can express his or her political will freely and without no problems or hindrances.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
You know how we do it. If it happens, we know, and we tell you right away. So if you want to know what's going on, when it's going on, how it's going on, why it's going on, and if it possibly going in, you got to call here. You understand? You got to tune into the Guyanese critic, because you can't get it nowhere else. Nobody knows. You ever heard of that? Nobody knows what I've been through. Now when you watch any other news agencies, does you end up? It's like if Simba singing a Simba with the band name from Lion King. The old tiger, the old lion, you understand? Nobody knows. We know that. Anytime you tune into the Guyanese critic, it's not going on in your brain saying, nobody knows what I've been through. Well, I know we've been through. I know we're going to go through. Right? I can't predict. But I know we have been through. We all been in it. Some of we get a little better advantage than some others, but stay strong right now. Come out and vote. Don't ask no question. You got a little uneasiness going on, but just like when I used to have fight up and broke up at the rum shop. You understand? Just like when you had at the rum shop and fight broke out, yes, this is correct. That's what happens when people drink. And what parties have to do is come out and talk to their supporters. You understand? You see, I'll see what's going on down there. You go back in the video and you can't see now. But I can tell you, big crowd outside the Sisters Village polling station. My brother, take your time. I see a green ice taxi heading down the tongue there like it's a plane. If he had wings, he would have been flying. Yes, not take your time. We can't afford certain things today. So take your time. This thing coming out of Guyana and his election watch. And what we're monitoring is what is going on, when it is going on, how it is going on, why it is going on, and if it possibly going in. That's what we're monitoring today. You understand? Roger that. Because you know this is a country, and in the Caribbean, we got new songs and things like gun in the hole and cutlass in the hole and all kind of thing in the hole. You understand? We want to end up in the election hole. Right? So stay focused. Stay strong. Keep a straight face. No, it's not a joke about this. It's a serious thing. Right? Today, the updates are as...
Sir, could you just tell us what you've observed of the process thus far?
We've been visiting a number of polling stations this morning. I think so far we have visited probably about
37 minus.
Almost 40. The process that we have observed has been good and smooth. There have been a few hitches. There was one polling station, for example, where they discovered that no poll book had been provided, and the presiding officer there had to be was very innovative. What she was doing was making note of the issues that would go into the poll book on some other piece of paper, with the intention of transcribing it to the poll book whenever that was delivered. She had reported it to the authorities. The major concern that we observed in the morning was long lines of persons waiting to vote, and a number of voters becoming impatient because they had been standing for a long period of time. Some of them are elderly persons for whom it must have been particularly uncomfortable. Some of that, I think, would have been due to the fact that there was initially quite a heavy turnout. When you got to about 10:30, it started to taper off. But initially, a lot of people came out. We found as well that in some polling stations, the process of identifying the voters, satisfying themselves that these were the persons that they claimed to be, and issuing the ballot paper. In some polling stations, it was more time-consuming than in others. That may have to do with the level of experience of the persons who work in the polling station. Some of them have been doing this job repeatedly for several elections. Some of them perhaps are new, and therefore it was taking a little extra time. We probably will make some recommendations in relation to that when we get to writing our report, because when we look at the law, it may be possible with some minor changes to expedite that process without compromising the integrity of the balloting itself. So that's something that we're going to bear in mind. But generally speaking, things have gone well. At none of the stations that we encountered, that we visited, did we encounter any disruption. People were very peaceful, they were very orderly. I didn't detect any tension among the persons waiting to vote, even though I'm sure that they represented different parties. They're supporters of different parties. They all seem to have been, prepared to wait and prepared to exercise their franchise in a dignified manner. And I think that is all to the credit of the Guyanese people. I think that they have a great deal of investment in this process and in this election. And for their sake, I hope that what we have observed this morning continues throughout the day. And I hope that that same level of civility, tolerance, conscientiousness will govern the process of tabulating the votes after polls have closed, so that we can get results that will command the confidence of all of the people of Guyana.
Sir, one of the concerns that the Carter Center had, for example, was that the process by which votes will be tabulated was not shared with all stakeholders. I wondered your view on that. Do you understand what will happen as polls close?
It was explained to us when we met with GCOM. We also had the benefit of studying the statutory provisions, the legal provisions, what the law prescribes. We did not receive specific complaints that the critical stakeholders were unaware. Certainly the political parties seem to be aware of how the tabulation is. I think the concern that was expressed, and you will appreciate this from what obtained in previous elections, is the time that it takes. It is not good to have an election on Monday and several days can pass before the people of Guyana know what the outcome of those elections are. That is courting mistrust It is providing fertile ground for rumors and conspiracy theories and so on. And in our discussions with GCOM, we certainly urge them to do everything possible to complete the tabulation and to have the results declared as early as possible. We'll have to wait to see what happens after today. One has to bear in mind, of course, that given the geography of Guyana, there are remote polling locations where it is going to take time for those results to be conveyed. We're told that in some cases they will have to use aircraft, in other cases they will have to use boats. Time will have to be allowed for that to be done, and care will have to be taken to ensure that in that process, whether they're being flown or they're being conveyed by boat, that the ballot boxes and the statements of poll are carefully protected and the integrity is preserved. But even then, we feel that we don't have to wait until the last box or last statement of poll has come in. Results can be fed to the people as they come in, so that people can be given cause to, people can be assured that the process is working and that it's not being deliberately delayed to facilitate anything that would be inimical to the free expression of the will of the people.
Mr. Bowling, based on your analysis so far, given what you had observed earlier, long lines early in the morning, is this showing then a trend of a high turnout in the elections?
It's difficult for me to say because this is my first time observing elections in Guyana, so I don't know what the culture is here. The culture may very well be that you have a high turnout in the morning, it slacks off during the course of the day, and then maybe towards closing hours you will have another bumping up of people. I don't know what the culture has been. I was encouraged, however, to see the level of turnout, and what encourages me even more is when I inquired of the presiding officers how many people had so far voted or how many ballots. Sometimes they weren't able to tell me specifically because they didn't have time to count. And in those instances, I would ask them, how many books of ballots have you used so far? Because each book contains 50 ballots. And when a presiding officer told me, for example, I've already used 3, and I am now on my 4th, it means that over 150 people have voted. When I ask how many people are on the list, I would be told, well, it is 300. Now, if before midday, more than half of the people have voted, that is encouraging in terms of the level of turnout that you're likely to get.
Have you seen certain previous recommendations applied this time with the experience that the OAS has in Guyana? Have you seen previous recommendations applied this year?
Regrettably, only to a partial extent. A lot of the recommendations that were made by the OAS mission that was here in 2015, and even the one that was here in 2011, was it 2011?
Yes.
Those are still languishing. And we may very well find ourselves in a position where this mission is going to have to restate those recommendations because they're still valid.
We need to continue.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
What is the risk of a fraud? Which is the risk of a fraud?
Which is the?
The risk of a fraud,
Is there a risk of fraud?
Risk of?
What is the risk of fraud? Fraud. The risk of fraud.
The system is very robust. The system as it is designed with the checks and balances that are there is very robust. But no matter how robust a system is, it can be overturned if the conditions allow. If, for example, people were to invade a polling station and take charge of it, hope to God that doesn't happen. But if that happened, all of those robust systems are at risk.
Executed without favor to anyone.
Badal is calling on the Guyana Elections Commission's GCOM to deliver timely results.
We hope that the results will be disclosed on a timely basis because our experience with the last 2015 election has not been so, that all the wheels of GCOM will turn smoothly and they will deliver a very credible elections.
Today, Chief Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield was unable to state precisely when results would be announced. He, however, noted that the Commission is working towards the earliest possible time. Mixed reactions to the voting process along the east bank of Demerara. Christian Josiah spoke with electors in this district to find out their views.
Voters residing along the east bank of Demerara turned out in their numbers to cast their ballots in the 2020 general and regional elections. This newscast visited several polling places, including the Houston Secondary School, Peters Hall Primary School, Providence Primary School, Grove Primary School, Craig Primary School, and Herstelling Health Center. Several senior citizens and persons with disabilities told this newscast that the procedure coordinated by the Guyana Elections Commission officers were seamless. However, others had mixed views about the voting process.
I think it is fair to cloudy, because my wife, her name was not. They had to go into the system to get her name and that kind of stuff, and she had to swear and whatnot. Whereas it should be, up front. And this section is slow, the other side is very fast, and it can frustrate people.
Yeah, so when it gets done, they're putting disabled people first as a priority, and I really appreciate that. This means a great deal to me.
Well, it was good. It was good, and they were helpful in my situation.
It was smooth, very good. Yeah, and with my, I was given some privilege to go in before, so I'm happy.
This thing can't finish 6 o'clock this afternoon. It wouldn't. They're going too slow.
The process was okay for me. It's kind of slow, but everything is going fine.
Oh, it was nice. It was very nice. Very good. Very nice, and they cooperate with us to give me a little space to go in before, because I tell them I have a artery, and they send an officer to take me in.
Are moving. Yeah, the lines are moving. Normal is just actually good. We really get a little progress coming out. People coming out actually.
Reporting from Providence Nursery School, Christian Josiah.
Well, Olin Park will track the proceedings at polling stations along the east coast of Demerara.
The voting was really smooth, and I really think everything will be okay. And everybody, we don't have no problem. The numbers, alphabetical order, I think so. Everybody will know exactly which door they're heading to.
Simple, go in, do what you have to do, and that's it.
The process is that do a change your name and a change your address when you go, and you still have to swear back. You know what nonsense is that? Yeah, everything else was okay.
Let's now hear from Ryan Abrams, our Region 6 correspondent.
Scores of Barbadians turned out at their respective polling stations along the quarantine to cast their ballots for a political party of their choice from as early as 5 hours on Monday. At the polling station at Eversham Primary, 364 persons are expected to vote, with 373 at Kilturn Nursery, 362 at Brighton Village, with Macedonia Joppa A 269 and B 179. NCN News caught up with several voters who said the process was a smooth one, and they expected to see continued development in the area regardless of which political party win the elections.
It was a smooth process, and at least it is important because they got a choice, everybody got a choice to make for the betterment of the country.
I went to the before the polling booth actually commenced, and all 4 that I visited open promptly at 6. And polling is going smoothly so far. There's no problem. We are all having very good turnout, and we're hoping that it will continue for the rest of the day.
Yes, I love to vote. I get it, because what go wrong, it will go right. Someone, and who I'm saying this now, we must accept and bless. Win.
Local observer representing the Private Sector Commission, Lika Rambridge, said that there were no hiccups at the polling stations, while expressing hope that the smooth flow continues.
The process was very smooth, and everybody was just anxious there whilst voting. And my main object in voting is to bring what I must say, more. We have a lot of changes, but we need a little more in the community. And
over 600,000 eligible voters are casting their ballots across the country. Reporting for the NCN News, I'm Royan Abrams.
NCN's Tracy Liverpool now gives us an update from Linden, Region 10.
Citizens in Linden turned out in large numbers to cast their vote. Over Abilene Foundation Secondary School, 10 polling stations were set up to facilitate the voters. Did you find the voting process?
The voting process was simple, very straightforward. Decom staff was very cooperative, and I think most persons would have checked before they came to know exactly which polling place and polling station they are to vote at. So for me, it was very simple.
From my observation, I come here like around 5:45, and by 6:10 I was already voting because the process is running very smooth. There is no corner of fusion. Everything is going properly. The persons them in the line is waiting to turn, and they're taking it patiently to go in and cast the vote.
Hello?
we have 10 polling stations here, and I'm telling you, all are filled right now. And this feels really good. This is the scene I wanted to see.
Well, as a first-time voter, it was good. Other than the line was moving a bit slow and there was a bit of argument in there. It was all right.
So far, as it relates to the whole system, we have a very good turnout. But the process is a bit slow, so we are appealing to the public, the voters in particular, to just be patient and allow the thing to take its course. It's very, very important that we understand, and I want to encourage everybody that don't allow this little hiccups to turn your way, because some people are saying they're going home, and I had to get a little talk with them. By this time, they would have changed their mind. So once again, I said the turnout is good, it's reasonable, it's just the process because the lines are long, and we are hoping that within the next hour or so, we'll have those things cleared up.
For NCN News, Tracy Liverpool.
Jacob has been addressing minor hiccups at polling stations, including the pace at which voters are being processed. Chief Election Officer Keith Lowenfield said the complaints over the slothfulness at some polling stations were linked to the Commission's information clerks.
And I'm sure as far as the issue of the information clerks, by now they would have been no doubt gotten into their stride and ensure there is a smooth flow that ensures that at the end of the day, all electors listed at all the polling stations would have been afforded an opportunity to exercise their franchise.
Meanwhile, GCOM's chairperson Claudette Singh is optimistic that Elections Day will be incident-free.
Today is the day when all of Guyana will exercise their franchise. And I'm very hopeful and prayerful that we would also have an incident-free election day. We've had an incident-free nomination day. We also had an incident-free day when our disciplined forces cast their ballots on the 21st. And I am looking forward also, and I know the whole of Guyana is looking forward to an incident-free election day.
Meantime, for those who are likely to vote late, you will be allowed to cast your ballot, providing you are already in the line when the place.
So we're at the potential Neighborhood Democratic Council, where a polling station is set up. The persons are here, crowding the polling station, and not allowing other political party agents to visit the polling station. We just spoke with the presidential candidate for the People's Progressive Party, Irfan Ali, who is currently receiving the brunt of the protest and criticism right now out here. The police officers are out here directing the traffic to ensure that the persons don't go onto the public road and block the traffic. I will try to talk to some of these persons now for them to explain to you what transpired here and cause them to come out of their homes and stand on the corners of the public road.
And just Spanish, not the word. They say
There is a commander leading through Mr. Simon, but he will also try to bring some order. Not get too close to the PPP's presidential candidate.
Run!
Mr. Ali, the People Peace presidential candidate, is now forced to leave the location at potential on the west bank of Demerara after persons protested his arrival, alleging that he's here to influence the voters. Present at the location are also some elections observers, international and local.
We have to go to the police station. People have to vote.
The commander is trying to move persons from the polling stations and to send them 200 feet away. That is where they're officially supposed to be according to the laws of Guyana, so that persons who want to vote can come freely to vote. The public road on the Demerara is not as broad as it is on the east coast, so the police is having a hard time to be able to allow the traffic to flow freely if persons remain here. There are polling stations at the Potential Neighborhood Democratic Council, at the Sisters Nursery School, and the Good Intent. Well, it's a short distance from the Good Intent Health Center, which is next door. There are no polling stations there. We're trying to get a comment from the commander, but he said that he will not be speaking right now until he's able to get the persons to move away 200 feet from the polling station. Police are trying to get the persons to move as they are in close proximity to one of the polling stations at the Sisters Nursery School, but the persons have decided to stand next to a vendor and they are not moving. As you can see, here is the entrance to the Sisters Nursery School where there is a polling place, and then the stand is here where the persons are selling. The police are trying to get them to move beyond that utility pole that you can see behind them.
I said Simon wicked! Simon is a wicked man! Simon to get locked up! Easy man got the idiot. Simon is the man got the idiot. Everyone got the idiot. That's it. You do me what? Huh? See? But not that big story. Not that sacrifice, you know? We don't want no sacrifice. Yeah, me just come. See them must not get an illegal thing. Yeah, see them. Go for the fans right here. We're not hearing no more. Jail them, man. Jail them. If we don't get justice, if we don't get justice, no, we want justice.
Democratic Council, where there was a polling station. There were reports that the police received of someone distributing fake ID cards. We have to know that the police said they were not able to verify if that was actually the case, but they got the reports. They went on the ground because there was agitation by over 100 persons at the polling station. Part of the problems seem to have stemmed from the fact that a man was inside the polling station trying to physically assist someone to vote. Well, now that's not permitted because voting is secret. Now that seemed to have sparked some of the unrest that you were looking at earlier. Now, as I mentioned before, we can now go to a press conference by the Guyana Elections Commission, where they gave an update of how the voting has taken place across the country since the opening of polls at 6 this morning. So we turn over to that press conference now from the GCOM Media Center at the Ashwin Buildings at High and Hatfield Street.
March the 2nd.
Thank you so much for attending this press briefing. It's Elections Day in Guyana, and so our polls open at 6 a.m. this morning. And for us at GCOM, it's very important that we provide you with an update as to what obtained and what will be our posture for the rest of the day as we go through today. So I wouldn't want to take up a lot of time because I know you're also trying to cover field activities as well today. But I'll just ask the chairperson of the Guyana Elections Commission, Justice Claudette Singh, to provide you with some brief remarks based on our observations this morning, visiting the polls and so on, followed by which we'll have an update from the Chief Election Officer. Madam Chair.
CEO, GCOM colleagues, Special Advisor, Mr. Kingsley. Good morning to everyone. Today is the day when all of Guyana will exercise their franchise. And I'm very hopeful and prayerful that we would also have an incident-free election day. We've had an incident-free nomination day. We also had an incident-free day when our disciplined forces cast their ballots on the 21st. And I'm looking forward also, and I know the whole of Guyana is looking forward to an incident-free election day. I thank you for your presence here this morning, and I have been with our team to visit some polling stations. I voted in Eccles, and from there we went to several polling stations We went to Queenstown. There was one little hiccup there because most of the polling stations were on the top floor, but persons were assisted, those people who were disabled and who were in wheelchair. And we then went to St. Sidwell's, where there was a very long line, but our team was very efficient in assisting persons to find their polling stations. So with that, I'll hand you back to the PRO.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Just to provide you with a quick reminder that today elections were all across the country at 2,339 polling stations. And just to provide you with a quick breakdown of those numbers by district, in Region 1 we have 99 polling stations, where we have 18,952 electors. In Region 2, 135 polling stations with 37,979 electors. In Region 3, 355 polling stations with 100,758 electors. In Region 4, 879 polling stations with 285,618 electors. In Region 5, 158 polling stations with 44,663 electors. In Region 6, 378 polling stations with 99,131 electors. In Region 7, 82 polling stations with 14,887 electors. Region 8, 55 polling stations with 7,431 electors. In Region 9, 73 polling stations with 17,771 electors. And in Region 10, 125 polling stations with 33,808 electors. At this time, I now ask the Chief Election Officer to provide you with some remarks based on his observations in the field this morning, the current status and our engagement as it relates to the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Yolanda. Thank you very much, Yolanda. I have received...
The mic switch has to be on.
Thanks, Doc. My day started relatively early this morning, much earlier than Madam Chair. I was up at 2:30 to monitor the movement of the ballot boxes from their respective staging areas across the country to get them to their polling stations on or before 0530 hours, which would have facilitated the preparatory arrangements by the presiding officers and the agents of the respective parties as far as checking in the presence of the agents the contents of those boxes, the issuance of the list, well, all lists, and the folios as required, and ensuring the polling stations are already at about 5:45 before the presiding officer announces that the poll is open at 0600 hours. From all indications, from all reports I've received across the spectrum from districts 1 to 10, the arrangement for the deployment of those boxes that were intended to be deployed today was done and arrived at their respective locations on time, with the exception of one box for New River. We have one polling station at a location called Cashew Island with 11 electors. It's an area movement. It belongs to District 6. And we departed about 9:30 this morning. That was part of the plan. We did not want to move at 04. So when we get there, it would have been misty, and the aircraft would have had to either go across eastward or turn back to a close location where it could have landed. So that was part of the plan, really. We could not have been there for 06. We are currently en route to New River to facilitate the voting of those 11 Guyanese on Cashew Island. As far as other reports, so right across the spectrum, we started on time. There were very many calls early this morning for clarifications from election agents. Issues were varied relative to the proficiency of our staff at crowded locations where we have our information clerks. It was reported that our information clerks were not aiding the process. The issue is that at one polling place, for example, we'll have 7, 8, 9 polling stations. Based on the configuration of that school, as it were, the information clerks are placed at a location where when electors enter the compound, they can, if they so desire, engage to confirm exactly which of the 5, 7, 9 classrooms in the school they're supposed to. They're required to exercise their franchise. That did not go well in all places this morning, and that was reported to me. As a matter of fact, one agent told me that the presence of information clerks can be deemed slows the process, particularly in where he would have observed or he would have been present on the East Coast, and also in Ayfield, Sophia. Both of those locations in Strathspey and in Ayfield, they were corrected. So in the main, most of the issues raised by parties, particularly the agents of parties, they were corrected at all locations. I visited in and around South Georgetown, and I proceeded as far as Crane on the west side. 2 issues emerged over in Crane. An issue where an elector came to vote and was told that she had already voted. Further checks would have shown that that was not so. On entering the building just now, I was told there is a similar situation at the old mosque up the road here in Rumveld. I've asked the DR in that location to do an investigation to determine the accuracy of that report. So those are the reports. I've had a report also from a local observer that advised that at Providence on the East Bank of Demerara that the agent was not being, even though properly accredited with the badge, was not allowed in. That was also corrected. So as the issues emerged, and I'm sure during the course of the day, as to what is, effort will be made to resolve those issues. And I'm sure as far as the issue of the information clerks, by now they would have been no doubt gotten into their stride and ensure there is a smooth flow that ensures that at the end of the day, all electors listed at all the polling stations would have been afforded an opportunity to exercise their franchise. Thank you. That's all I have for you for now.
Thank you very much, CEO. I'll now invite any questions you may have from the floor.
My thinking is that you have done your due diligence. GCOM would have done their due diligence in terms of making sure the readiness of the information agent.
Sure.
If that's the case, why do you think it was the case?
I don't want to say nervousness. When I went to Lodge Secondary, for example, and also to the South Rumpel Secondary, the crowd was massive. I mean, I'm happy that electors indeed and in fact in location came out pretty early to ensure that that happens. And my own view is the nervousness on the part of those clerks. A clerk told me, Chief, my shower laptop isn't coming on. I will want to, it's casual, it's not based on any empirical evidence, but at a glance I will deduce that that is probably what would have occurred.
The Chief Elections Officer expressed his satisfaction that electors are showing up in massive numbers. He has made it clear that he has not received any negative reports. GCOM's Public Relations Officer Yolanda Ward said at the close of polls, all things being equal, the Commission will host another press conference to update the public on the day's proceedings. Polling stations across the country will be closed at 18 hours or 6 p.m. today. GCOM is encouraging all eligible voters to come out and exercise their constitutional right to vote before the close of polls. And 161,378 eligible voters will be casting their votes today at the 2,339 polling stations located across the country. Here is a breakdown of the polling stations by region. In Region 1, there are 18,952 electors who will have access to 99 polling stations. In Region 2, there are 37,979 electors with 135 polling stations. Region 3, 100,758 electors with 355 polling stations. Here in Region 4, there are 285,618 electors and 879 polling stations. Region 5 has 44,663 electors and 158 polling stations. Region 6 has 99,131 electors with 378 polling stations. In Region 7, there are 14,887 electors with 82 polling stations. Over in Region 8, there are 7,431 electors with 55 polling stations. Region 9, there are 17,771 electors with 73 polling stations. And in Region 10, 33,808 electors. And in Region 10, there are 33,808 electors with 125 polling stations. Among other ministers to cast their ballots earlier today were Minister of Finance, the Honorable Winston Jordan, Minister within the Ministry of Agriculture, the Honorable Valerie Adams Yearwood, and Minister of Public Telecommunications, the Honorable Catherine Hughes, along with her husband, Attorney at Law, Nigel Hughes. We have some more information for you. There are a number of first-time voters who were part of the early risers. 19-year-old Denzel St. Hill, who is also a counselor in his community, expressed his happiness to be able to vote at the Parfait Harmony Primary School. He was the 7th person in line to vote at his polling station this morning. After voting, he remained at the location to help others do the same.
As I encourage all my young people, because I manage a youth organization, it's our democratic rights to exercise. So why stay home and allow it? Our forefathers fought for independence, and we should use the opportunity and, just come out.
Before we go, let's remind you to take a few minutes out of your time today and exercise your constitutional right to vote. You can go to the GCOM website to confirm that you are on the voters list and locate your respective polling stations. We also remind you to be mindful of fake or false information. There is only one official source of results, and that is the Guyana Elections Commission, GCOM, and we need to await their announcements after the polls are closed. We here at DPI will only bring you credible and verified information. So stay tuned with us today and this evening. Continue to follow our social media for more updates.
We come cross the Caribbean Sea, mother, father, picnic, and we settle down in GT. Why-oh, we bend down on the coastal plain, the hot sun and pouring rain, and we planting the rice and cane. Why-oh, yes, we take off the boots and we put down the roots. Why-oh, so the crabwood that grow in Essequibo is we own. And the 6 o'clock bee and the Saki Winky is we own. And the lava that run from Govaya Gun is we own. And them Wallaba posts and the Coragine posts is we own. Wondery crab is we own. Truly Benam is we own. Umanaya is we own. Riperilla is we own. Arapaima is we own. Whether Grover, whether Pleasance, we know Pagua and Confidence, and we know how to wine and prance. Why oh, and we celebrate Diwali, and when time for Mashramani, this party, party, party. Why oh, yes, we know how to fet till the underwear wet. Why oh, so the crabwood that grow in Essequibo is we own. And the 6 o'clock bee and the Saki Winky is we own. And the lava that run from Govaya Gun is we own. And them Wallaba posts and the Coragine posts is we own. Bundary crab is we own. Truly Benam is we own. Umanayana is we own. Friperilla is we own. Arapaima is we own. Umanayana is we own. Chip, sugar, cake, and saltfish and bake is we own. Pumpkin curry and two pulaury is we own. Bobby and ice, black-eyed peas and rice is we own. Coconut, metachi and wiri is we own. Babolala, rich and mini kota in the hand is we own. Cranberry Lee and the Blue Dashiki is we own. And Frankie Muniz and the Boom Boom Cheese is we own. And the lawyer in tongue named Lee Funky Fong is we own. And the fellas in the